Welcome in 07 citizens, Black here from Castle Black Gaming, and this is a review for Anvil's all-new medical rescue ship, the C8R Pisces. Now remember, if this is not your first time checking out my channel, then please consider subbing and also liking this video, and even commenting on how you're liking the C8R so far, or if you're thinking about picking it up and have more questions this review doesn't answer, then I'll be happy to answer them down in the comments below. And also go ahead and give me crap for each time I say CR8 instead of C8R, because for whatever reason, CR8 just wants to flow out of me and I'll try to catch it, but it's bound to happen. And so with that disclaimer out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the review. So first here on the screen are the stats for the C8R, which is dubbed as a snub medical support ship. It is of course not meant to be a fighter, yet it still comes with two size 1 pilot controlled hardpoints, which come stock with two size 1 laser repeaters. It also comes with two size 1 missile racks, each supporting a single size 1 missile. These ship dimensions are 13 meters in length, 10.3 meters across its beam and width, and then 3.35 meters in height. The crew size is 1 to 2, with a third being an injured party member who can be restrained in the tier 3 medical bed, but more on that later. The combat speed is 164 meters per second with a max afterburn speed of 1150 meters per second. The cargo is nil, as in 0, and the ship claim time at the ASOP terminal is a quick 43 seconds, which of course can be brought down to 0 for a few hundred credits if you can't wait. The ship components are 1 size 1 shield, 1 size 1 cooler, 1 size 1 power plant, and 1 size 1 quantum drive. There are 16 thrusters for stabilization and maneuverability, and there are 2 size 1 hydrogen fuel tanks and 1 size 1 quantum fuel tank. So for many ships, this is a real concern for some of the ship owners and can determine if they in fact use a ship daily or decide to go with something different that they find more convenient to get in and out of, and so I include the time it takes to enter a ship for those owners who want to weigh that into their decision. For the Anvil C8R Rescue, that time is roughly 10 to 12 seconds if you close the hatch behind you, and this includes having to go through a single clear medical door and through the medical bay and into your seat. It's very fast, which is something expected for such a small ship, so it shouldn't be a concern. Since the C8R is just a snub ship that is meant for quick rescue ops, it does not have your typical living quarters or amenities other than the seats for the pilot and the medical assistant that has a jump seat near the patient. The original Pisces non-medical ships have 2 jump seats, but one of them has been removed from this variant to make room for the medical terminal that you see here. There are no food storage or bathrooms here, although there is a medical cabinet which comes stocked with some medical supplies as you see here, and while it should be refrigerated, I'm not sure of that, and if so, could you possibly put some food in there if keeping food fresh is ever a thing in this game. But that sharing your medicine space with food is normally frowned upon or illegal. With the Pisces C8R, you can get either a 4-pack of paints, which includes the Scrubland paint job, which is a darker grayish camo look, or the Nightbreak paint job, which is a dark gray or black with trim. There's also the White Responder paint job, which is a medical theme and matches nicely with the Carrack, and then there's also the Heartbeat paint job, which is another medical paint theme and clearly distinguishes this variant as a medical ship. If you are a concierge member, there is a 5-pack with all of those other previously mentioned colors, and also an additional blue paint job, which is a very nice medical themed paint job and the one I happen to prefer over the rest. Of note is that any of the Pisces ships can use these paints, so you can disguise your Pisces one way or the other for whatever nefarious reasons you may want to do so. The C8R's role is meant to be a quick way to swoop in and pick up the injured and then be able to stabilize them with a tier 3 medical bed as you get them back to either one of the other medical ships with a better tiered bed or to a hospital, depending on which is closest and what you're doing. A tier 3 medical bed can only treat tier 3 injuries, which are minor, or rehydrate or bring your food levels back up. Anything more serious or life-threatening will need to be handled by a tier 2 or tier 1 bed. This tier 3 bed in the C8R cannot be used as a revive point for players, and and also cannot be logged out from like a normal bed. You will need to own or be in a group with someone with either a Carrack or 890 jump to be able to respawn until other announced concept ships are in game. The C8R makes for an interesting solo ship to not only do medical gameplay, but also as a good option to go to bunkers or outposts to do some FPS combat. The vehicle might not have SCU storage, but it does still have inventory that you're able to load up with NPC gear you find, as you see me doing here, which makes it a nice little ship that can still earn a profit, and it's a fast little ship, which faster engines in a direct line is the only ship performance difference from the other variants, giving this an edge if it needs to quickly escape a situation. I enjoy going about the verse, especially within a single planet and moons area, to stay out for a while and not have to worry about being replenished of food or liquids until I've filled up my inventory to take back and sell at a station. Cargo missions are also easily handled and doable, at least for now, but who knows if the cargo boxes will increase in size with 318, so if they do, there might not be enough room to do those. But these smaller cargo boxes you can carry by hand are definitely doable and enjoyable with this ship. As far as combat, I handled illegal monitoring missions quite easily with this ship and made some decent bank using it, so those are definitely an option as well. But as far as bounty goes, I would stick with tier 1 or 2 max with this ship, as it can be somewhat fragile. This ship is mostly complete except for the scanning capabilities, which I believe still need to be more fleshed out for medical gameplay and will allow for probably more accurate scans of the injured at some point. But other than that, the ship is pretty much fully functioning, but that does not mean that medical gameplay is where it needs to be or is always functioning correctly itself. Medical gameplay is currently in its early stages and needs more fleshing out. We still need medical gameplay missions to be added at some point, and hopefully some medical reputation, which might stop people from being able to spoof medical emergencies only to lure you out into an ambush, which reputation should be able to keep you from making such a mistake. But as it is now, replying to medical missions that pop up are usually fraught with dangers, especially for solo players who would be using this ship. The Anvil C8R stock components are almost all you need if I'm being honest, so upgrading this ship is cheap and not very time consuming. You will want to upgrade the shields and quantum drive and the missile type from the infrared that comes stock to electromagnetic missiles, which are currently the missiles that find their target more often than the rest, at least until the ship weapons revamp is done. Now, as part of the upgrades, I also wanted to show the different travel times this ship will have when you compare the stock engine with an upgraded one. But as you can see, the travel times are almost identical, so why would you swap the engines? Well, the fuel usage is more with the stock engine over the Atlas, so if you'd like to be able to get further on a full tank, then swap the quantum drive. But also, if the engine is shut down by distortion weapons, the reboot time is 8 seconds longer on the Expedition, so that could also be a decent reason to swap it out. Alright, so the first part of this video has been mostly facts, and now we come to the part where it's more subjective, and although I try not to really push my opinion too much on you, I will give my take coming from a reasonable place, trying to avoid just hyping things for the sake of hype. So how does the C8R Pisces look? I mean, I'm not blown away by the overall design of this ship, which is similar to how I felt about it when I reviewed the Pisces Expedition a few months back. The ship is a pretty standard looking shuttlecraft and honestly looks like it could either fly people from a planet's surface or be a clam style burger box, but it's not here to be cool looking. I will say that the medical variant paint jobs do wonders in improving its ease on the eyes. With a variant, I would not expect them to be vastly different looking from one another, so I'm not knocking it for looking similar, nor do I think it has to be fancy since it's such a basic little dutiful ship. But the boring design language is what it is, and while it doesn't blow me away, I'm also not disgusted by it either. So how does the C8R handle while flying? I honestly like the way the Pisces ships handle. They are smooth and responsive, and with the C8R getting a speed boost, it's really a fun little ship to get about in to do your daily running, whether you're planet jumping or going to do some medical gameplay. The only knock I will give the handling is when you're coming in for a landing, it can be a little loose, and if you hit the ground a little too rough, you will pay for it, as happened to me a couple of times. I think I kind of got used to the sturdiness of the Drake cutter, which is fine if you come in hard, and so going over to the C8R made for some interesting landings to say the least. Regardless, not every ship is a tank like the cutter, and it's certainly not enough to ward anyone off from flying this ship. Just be careful. Alright, so this is the category that means different things to different people, and the best I can do is offer up my own opinion on why I think it either is or is not worth the real money price or grind in game, and I do try to keep in mind that a great many people truly watch what they spend, and so I like to find reasons to justify something's worth, especially in comparison to similarly priced ships that might be close to the same category. I also offer up tips on buying ships and how you can incrementally move up to larger or more ships, and good times to do this throughout the year. Anyway, the C8R looks like it will cost $60 as a standalone ship. The Expedition variant standalone is $45, so for $15 more, you're paying more, but the medical gameplay aspect of this one to me makes it the one to go with if you're considering this line of ships, or if you want a medical ship. The increase in cost for medical variants is nothing new, as the Drake Cutlass has a $35 markup for the Cutlass Red medical variant over the standard black, which I do think is $10 too much for that, especially now that medical gameplay has changed how the bed tiers work, but I think the $15 for this ship's upcharge isn't bad, as medical gameplay is more fleshed out and hopefully we see more better changes or even those medical missions come into play. This ship could really shine even more so than it already does, but once again that remains to be seen as we wait on gameplay. I'm not sure what the end game cost will be, as new ships usually take 1 to 2 update cycles before they can be purchased within the verse for in-game credits, but I would say that it will definitely be an easy buy if you're late to the game and it's already in the verse to buy. The Expedition is around 400,000 credits, so I would expect this ship to probably be a little over the $500,000 mark, which is super easy to earn. Regardless of how you get this ship, it's a decent ship and worth having if you're wanting medical gameplay and being solo are your things. Alright, so here we are at how I think this ship could be made to be more useful or more improved. Now, as far as a medical variant goes, I'm pretty pleased overall with this ship. I'm not pleased with medical gameplay at the moment, so my wish list on that was more discussed in detail with my Cutlass Red review I did, which I will link at the end of this video. I would like to see a medical gun included in the medical cabinet, and if one of my wish list items of being able to create your own medicines from herbs you gather around the verse ever comes true, then I would like the countertop to have some sort of smaller medical equipment to craft such things, but that's just me. Other than that, I think CIG has done a great job with what a Pisces variant should be, and now we wait for that bed to hopefully become detachable, similar to the floating med beds they showed off at CitizenCon. And that is going to do it for this quick ship review of the C8R, I said it right, Pisces Rescue. Overall, I am pretty satisfied with this ship variant, and I'm really hoping we get more variants, especially in the sub $100 range, as I think these are gold mines and sell well, and I think it's easier to sell 100 of these ships instead of those that border on $500. As medical gameplay shapes up, I'm sure the ship will only get better with time, and who knows, maybe a medical ground vehicle is in the works, which would round out solo gameplay nicely. But hopefully if they do this, they will make it fit inside of a Cutlass Red as some sort of small rescue gurney slash buggy. I should have put that in my wish list section, but oh well. Anyway, let me know how the ship is fitting in with your fleet, and also just how often you're using it for those tier 1 injuries, or is it just a smaller hydration station? I will be working on the Corsair review next, so that one should take me a few days, but of course I will pop back up if something newsworthy comes out and needs my delicate opinion. Wait, I didn't mean to sound like I'm delicate, just that I try to put more delicate thought into what I say before I say it. You know what I mean. Anyway, remember to be kind to your fellow gamer, give that wallet a rest after IAE and Black Friday, and stay positive citizens.